Hello, my name is Kunle Ologe.
Precious James Ogbonna is an award-winning educator and early years expert with over a decade of experience. She's the founder and director of Lenville Preparatory School, Uyo, a young school committed to bringing out the genius within every child. Through her coaching practice, Precious specializes in helping parents navigate the crucial first 5 to 6 years of their children's learning and development. Just like the role of a family doctor, Precious is fondly called the family teacher, a teacher every parent should have in their corner. Recognizing the significant impact of parental involvement on a child's education, Precious runs a support group which empowers parents to become essential contributors to their children's academic journey, as reflected in our popular hashtag #GetInvolved. Precious wholeheartedly believes in the transformative power of parental involvement. Driven by a commitment to helping parents enhance their children's academic success, Precious offers personalized coaching, workshops, masterclasses, and webinars. These resources are designed to assist educators and parents in maximizing learners' potential and fostering a positive learning environment. She is the convener of the Teach Your Child to Read and Write virtual workshop, through which she has trained over 1,000 parents in navigating these crucial pillars of early years education. In addition to her dedication as an educator, Precious is also an author with several books and guides aimed at empowering children, educators, and parents alike. Precious is a multifaceted professional, serving also as a founder of LearnAid.ng, an education innovation company. She is a speaker, strategic thinker, leadership enthusiast, ministry gift, and a valued team member at the Intentional Parent Academy, a leading parents coaching outfit in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as we make welcome to the TIP Annual Conference 2023, Precious James Ogbonna.
Hi, good evening, Temitayo.
Good to have you on the show.
Yay, I'm excited to be here. How are you? Good evening.
I'm good. You're welcome, Precious.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much. Thank
Evening.
you.
Good evening. You're welcome. We want to tap from your knowledge, from that little you want to share with us. We can't wait to share, to get that knowledge from you. We can't wait to be impacted. Please, you have 50 minutes to share the information. I have my jotter with you. I hope you all have yours. This is the second jotter I'm having. Can you imagine? The information are too much. They are just too much. So please, you have the floor so that you have 50 minutes so that we can be able to take some questions and so that you can react to that, please. Let's keep the ball rolling.
Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope you all can hear me. Temitayo, can you hear me loud and clear? Please give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 5 of the annual Intentional Parent Conference 2023. I am super excited to be here, and I am particularly honored and privileged to serve as a speaker in this year's conference. Before I start sharing how to accelerate your child's learning experience, I want to say a huge thank you to the bestest boss in the whole wide world for giving me this opportunity. If someone had told me in 2020 when we were planning the 2020 conference I'll be speaking in 2023, and I've asked them to stop playing. But somehow we are here, and I'm super excited. Thank you, Coach. Love you. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be here because what I am about to share with you is bound to accelerate your child's learning experience. In the next 40 minutes, I'm going to take you all on a journey. If you have any child between the ages of 1 to 10, please come closer, like get to the front. If you have children older than 10, you can still be here. You will get value, but this class is going to provide insights to you. We're going to have the conversation. We're going to divulge the conversation, how to accelerate your child's learning experience. Now, what we're going to be learning in this session is not going to be the typical things you are expecting. There is more than meets the eye to accelerating a child's learning experience than core academic competencies. I bet a number of you here have had your time, you've had your luck switching from school 1 to school 2, switching from lesson teacher 1 to lesson teacher 2, and you've not still gotten that result you're looking for. What we're going to do in this session is to show you that missing link in your journey to accelerating your child's learning experience. Let's move. Now, every child is born with an innate ability to learn. If your child is struggling to learn today, I want you to understand. Luckily, it's the end of session, so a lot of us already have our children's reports with us. So you already know if your child is doing fantastically well or if they have challenges. No matter the result your child came home with, I want you to realize that in our journey to accelerating the child's learning experience, that ability, the capacity to learn is already hardwired in your child. Now, the next slide is going to show you what we typically find in classrooms. From my profile, you can already see that I'm an educator. So I live and breathe early years education. And in the first 5 years of learning, this is what we see. This cute, smiley face, excited faces. This is what you see when you come to an early years classroom. Every child is enthusiastic. Why? Because children are hardwired to learn. But as we move along, once children cross pre-K, kindergarten to primary grade school, what you see on your screen is what happens. The curiosity, the enthusiasm, the interest in learning begins to dwindle. And this has left me with depression for a long time. What happened? What happened to the babies, the enthusiastic, excited children in slide 1? And what is happening to these children who almost do not want to get into the school environment in slide 2? Hold that thought. This class is going to share the strategies with you. Now, when does learning begin? Remember that we've already mentioned that the ability and the capacity to learn is an innate skill, and it is hardwired in every child, including that child that must have come home with a report that you do not understand. There is something inside that child that can learn. If this is all you hear today, I believe that I have released you from that thought where you're beginning to think, but child A, my first child is learning. My second child is learning. My third child is learning. Why this child? Even in that child, you're questioning the academic proficiency. There is an innate skill to learn. Now, when children are born, they are hardwired to learn. I've said this over and over again. I believe you're already beginning to ask the question, when does learning begin for children? Is it in pre-K? Is it when they're 2? Is it when they're 5? Is it when they're 10? Now, shocking news, learning actually begins in utero. So this means that from the month of 7, early childhood experts already find that children begin to show the skill of learning. Now, this is displayed where toddlers, babies, fetus in the womb are able to identify the voice and know the voice of their mothers. Stay with me. Now, at that in the womb, a child is able to distinguish in the womb when a mother is happy and when a mother is sad. Just in the womb. So the child is in the womb and they are able to learn. So when the mother is happy, when the mother is relaxed, when the mother is excited, guess what happens? That fetus in the womb is calm and relaxed. But the fetus in the womb has learned that there is a different crescendo. There's a way the mother's voice would tilt. There's a way the rib cage inside will vibrate. And this child is able to tell that this mother is not happy. This mother is tense. So in utero, children are already beginning to learn. Now, to further substantiate this claim, researchers had to do another experiment. So when this baby that's already able to tell their mother's voice in the womb, when they come out, they did this experiment. So they brought the mother, they brought this baby, and they hooked the baby to an electromyographer machine. So what happened was that this baby was hooked to an electromyographer machine, and the mother and nurses within the mother's age range were brought into a room and given the exact word, the exact tone, the exact way at different times. Guess what happened? When this baby that was just born, when he heard the voices of the other nurses, this child did not react at all. Of course, this thing was being monitored, but immediately this baby heard the voice of the mother. There were movements in the muscles. There were bodily movements. The machine was able to tell some readings. But this same baby listened to the voice of other people who were not his mother. So you're going to ask, how did this child know who was his mother? And how did this child know who wasn't his mother? The response or the answer is simple. Children begin to learn in utero. So if you're questioning your child's ability to learn, I believe I have answered you. They begin to learn in utero. And when a child comes out within the first 365 days, we see such speed of growth. So that baby who came at 1, probably at 2.5 kg, 3 kg, 3.5 kg, at age 365 is probably over 10 kg, can say a word or two, can walk, can talk, has neck control, can identify, can run around. So do you see that they've come in, they've understood the environment, they know their names. The rate of development between day 1 and day 365 is crazy. This only just shows us that every child can learn. But the question is, what are we parents doing to enable, foster that thing God has already put in them that would enable them to learn? Now, a lot of times, coach has always said this. If you've listened to any course around learning, coach would always say that every child is born a genius, but it is parenting that degeniuses them. Every child is born a genius. Every child is born with the capacity to learn, but it is what they call parenting that degeniuses them through, number 1, relinquishing total control to third parties. A lot of parents in this call are literally saving their children's school fees. So by September 11th or 12th, they move to the school, they pay the fees, and they hands off. This is one way we degenius children. Parental involvement is one of the best ways you can accelerate your child's learning. Your child's learning is too primary and important to their growth development to relinquish total control to a third party. Teachers are important, schools are important, but they can't do it all. Someone here is going to say, but I've paid everything. I've paid all the money that they asked me to pay. I paid money in 6 zeros. I paid money in dollars. Payment of fees, Coach Wendy would say, is minimum entry level. The involvement, the commitment, the extra support, the collaboration with the school is the point you now begin to accelerate your child's learning experience. The second thing that parents do to degenius their children is exhibiting a psychological phenomenon called learned helplessness. A lot of parents are literally helpless when it has to do with helping their children in academics. They feel that they don't know what they're doing. They cannot help their child. I listen to parents who have children struggling. A 10-year-old cannot read. You don't no longer need a soothsayer to tell you that this child is struggling. But the parent is still sitting down waiting for the 10th lesson teacher by year 10 to come and help the child. So learned helplessness is one way with degenius children. You can learn to support your child. You can access the knowledge that would help you accelerate your child's learning experience. It is not enough to get the next lesson teacher. You can take the driver's seat. I believe this. I have seen parents I've seen children's results skyrocket just because parents took the driver's seat. Your a child's academic journey or experience is too primary to their life to relinquish total control to a third party. Okay, so through relinquishing third party, total control. Secondly, learn helplessness. You can learn to help your child. You can access knowledge. You are not, no matter the learning difficulty your child has, you can access knowledge, you can get knowledge, you can allow help to help you. All right, so let's move to what's it called? While you can begin to accelerate your child's learning experience, if you know you have any parents who should be in this class, just share the link with them. They will thank you. Number one, act as a neurosculptor. Act as a neurosculptor. If I were to ask you now, who is a parent? You're going to say a parent is a nurturer, a parent is a confidant, a parent is a provider, a protector, a matriarch, a mentor. You know, if I ask you who a parent was, you're going to give me all this big grammar to describe a parent. But for the purpose of this session, I'm going to describe a parent as a neurosculptor. Let me see you write it in the comment section. As a parent, you are a neurosculptor. Now, every born child, every human being, every individual is a neurological unit. So it simply says that as humans, we are a powerhouse of neurons. And it's the neurons that connect, that enables the brain function. Now, as parents, when we talk about parents as neurosculptors, it simply means that we parents, you parents, and educators as well. But because I'm talking to parents, I'll focus on parents at this time. You as a parent, you play a significant role in molding and forming the neural pathways and connections in your child's brain. You play a significant role. One of the concepts that takes care of a child's brain formation are the experiences that they are exposed to or the experiences that they are not exposed to. These two factors are middle. These two factors are key. So as a parent, your number one role in accelerating your child's learning experience is to expose them to activities that help to consolidate synaptic connections in the brain. Now, so I don't speak over your heads, let's look at 10 facts about the brain that would help us understand our role as neurosculptors. So I'm trying to fly so I cover everything. Number one, every child is born a neurological unit, born with 100 billion brain cells at birth. At birth. But at adulthood, that brain cells undergoes pruning from the second decade of life, that's from age 10. And it reduces to about 86 billion neurons. But every child is a neurological unit. There are neurons everywhere that have the capacity to learn anything. Anything. Number two, now 90% of brain development completes by age 5. This is why we say that age 1 to 5 are formative years. This is why we shout, we scream to the rooftop that you can't say that you can't join the academy because your child is 4. Meanwhile, ages 1 to 5 are, I don't want to say the most important, so parents of older children don't understand me, but they are as important as the air your child breathes. Because 90% of brain development is completed by age 5. Now, most brain development takes place after birth through creation, activation, and use of new synapses brought about, remember what I said initially, by your child's environment and experiences. Environment and experiences. So as a neurosculptor who is going to help your child's brain, you must be intentional about the environment and the experiences that you give to this child. Number 4, a loving, intellectually stimulating environment leads to greater brain development. So you remember when Coach Omolola mentioned in her session about ensuring you create a stimulating environment. This is it. This is it. A stimulating, nurturing, loving, intellectually stimulating environment leads to greater brain development in your child. Number 5, the first 3 years of life are very important. We talked about it. The brain triples the size at birth. at age 3 to 5. Number 6, the way information flows through the brain structures gets processed and it is largely established during these earliest years. Number 7, after the first decade of life, the brain begins to prune those synaptic connections that were not used. We're going to talk about that in a bit. Number 8, the brain has the remarkable capacity to reorganize itself through neuroplasticity. We'll look at that in another session. The last is a child's early experience, or their earliest experiences are brain shaping. So what we've been able to establish so far is that as parents, the brain is an organ. Even if the brain is an organ, it acts as a muscle. So I want you to picture this with me. Picture that my right arm is put in a cast for 5 years. So all those 5 years, I'm using my left arm, but this arm is put in a cast and just kept. Imagine what happens. That person, in this case, myself, I will lose the senses, I will lose the sensations, I will lose the muscles in this right arm. This is the same thing that happens when, as a parent, you don't intentionally. The word right here is intentionally simulate, create, introduce stimulating experiences and environments that can help stretch the malleability of your child's brain, because the brain is an organ, but it is also acts as a muscle, and as we know, muscles can be trained. No matter how I am, if I get to the gym for the next 3 years carrying weights, I will pump up. That is what the brain does. If you put the brain through the right experiences, whether it's in math, whether it's in literacy, whether it's in science, your child, in this case, will begin to learn. So number 1, assume your role as a neurosculptor. Be intentional about the experiences that you expose your neurological unit to. And who is this neurological unit? This neurological unit is your child. Any experiences matter, we've established that. Number 2, critical period. There are things we'll call critical periods of development, or sensitive period, or windows of opportunity. There are windows of opportunity that open at certain times that a child can use to learn. So we know that language, the window of opportunity for learning foreign languages and other languages than the primary language a child knows, are between the ages of 1 to 5. So I'm not saying that after 5 a child can learn languages. What I'm just saying is that the plasticity for learning languages reduces after age 5. Can they learn? Yes. But the ease with which they would learn that language would be a lot more lessened. So you must be careful to ensure your child has the best early experiences. And secondly, you are mindful of different windows of opportunities where they can develop certain skills. So let's move to how you can neurosculpt your child's brain. Number 1, it would be to understand and balance out the 80-20 concept. Now, we know that in parenting, there are 2 major things that determine the skill a child has. Number 1 is nature. Number 2 is nurture. In nature, these are genetic predispositions that a child has. In nature, genetic predispositions. Some children will genetically do well in maths. They have that strength. It's genetic. While some children will do better communicating, while the other children will do better being able to analyze. It's nature. But there's also a need to balance out with nurture. Let me give a very vivid example. Let's use the sexes, the boys and the girls. A girl will be more predisposed to having emotional awareness and having social skills. That is why you typically find that a baby girl will talk more faster than a baby boy. But that is the 80. So we're looking at the 80-20. So I'm not saying that all baby boys will not talk, but I'm just saying if we look at it on the percentile, 80% of girls will talk more than 20% of boys. But if we twist this, look at boys and girls, boys would be more logical and analytical than girls. This is why if you get into an engineering classroom, you will typically find more boys than girls because of genetic coding. Boys are predisposed to doing well with tech, with with anything that is logical. But girls are predisposed to doing well with anything that has to do with communication, talking, and all of that. Now imagine a parent who just sits still and says that, after all, my child does not know maths. You're talking about your girl who is probably the 80%. Are there girls who would do fantastically well in maths? Yes. But a lot of times, research shows that they are just going to be in the 20% percentile. So understanding and revolving or balancing out the 80-20 concept is simply identifying your child's strength, allowing them play to their strengths, but looking out for their weaknesses or where they are incompetent and doing all within your abilities to balance out that weakness that they have. So if I have a girl child who is not interested in maths, it's a genetic predisposition. What am I going to do? I'll begin to expose her to concepts around spatial awareness. I'll begin to expose her to concepts around logical activities from a young age because I know that that is not her strength. If I have a boy who just wants to be on his own, he doesn't want to communicate, he doesn't understand social skills, he doesn't understand how to interact, what I will do is to create a roadmap that enables him interact with people so he learns to be social. So understand that your child is going to have strengths, your child is going to have weaknesses, and your goal will be to balance these things out. If my child is not competent in literacy, but they are competent in numeracy, I play to their strengths, but I also, in my parenting day-to-day activities, simulate experiences that would help them balance out that area of learning that they are not competent in. This is why you're going to find more ladies. I'll be back in a bit. Apologies for that. We're back. Now, this is why it is your responsibility to identify what your child might struggle with or what they have strengths in, and in your parenting plan, create ways that would enable them to thrive. Simulate experiences that would enable them to thrive. That is understanding and balancing out the 80-20 concept. Number two, embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. A lot of times, we parents, one of the things that we do is that we try to pamper and prevent our children from making mistakes. It's almost as if we are averse to children making mistakes. We always want to be the savior, the Lord and the savior of the child. We don't want them to hurt themselves. We don't want them to do this. It is actually counterproductive. Embracing mistakes or even simulating experiences that enables your child make mistakes is one way you can neurosculpt their brain. We do children a disservice when they are always at their beck and call. If you've ever heard our lead coach teach, you would have heard her talk about the concept of allowing children to do dangerous things carefully. Dangerous things carefully. This is just that scenario where you're stretching your child. Now, there's a part of the brain that lies dormant until children are exposed to learning that stretches them. It is the part of the brain called the anterior cingulate cortex. Now, it is a part of the brain that gets activated when mistakes are made. Now, this part of the brain is in charge of brain growth, learning, and memory. As you live here and as you plan your holiday, begin to think of how you can simulate experiences that would enable your child stretch. If your child has been doing 100 pieces puzzle, don't get them to stick with 100 pieces puzzle. Do 200, stretch them. Let them make mistakes. Yesterday, my daughter was building her block. She came back and said, Mommy, I'm tired. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. I laughed and I was like, no, you can't. Go back and try. So simulate experiences, simulate situations where a child is allowed to stretch. Simulate experiences where a child is allowed to stretch. This activates a part of the brain that is in charge of memory, growth, and learning. Number 3, play. If I don't talk about play, did I say anything around neurosculpting? Play is one major way that we can use to activate the brain of children. Play is a way you as a parent, as a neurosculptor, in this case, can activate the brain of your child. So what play experiences are you exposing your child to? Now, what I love most about play in the context of neurosculptors is that when children engage in play, an ongoing research shows that a particular molecule that is manufactured in our brain cells that helps the neurons grow, survive, and form more synaptic connections. Remember, the more synaptic connections a child forms in a particular skill, the more they are able to do that particular thing. So if a child forms more synaptic connections in the part of the brain that is in charge of logical learning, the more that they would be able to do logical activities. Understand it as that. Now, when children are exposed to play, BDNF, a molecule that helps forge more synaptic connections, is released. So guess what happens? A child becomes better in learning just by playing. We're going to look at how you can develop your child's early years education in the last slide for building your child's brain. But remember that play is key. The next one is reduce screen time. Screen time is averse to building your child's brain. You have heard different ways that screen time affects your child's brain, but in this session now, we are going to look at another way that screen time affects your child's brain just by excess exposure. It is said that the average child in today's world is spends 2 to 3% of their day on screen. And every child in today's world spends 2 to 3% of their day on screen. And guess what happens? We already know about learning styles. So we have the visual learners, we have the auditory learners, we have the kinesthetic learners. Now, what happens when a child spends excess time on screen? They focus on building one part of the brain, which is the visual processing part of the brain. So what happens when a child is no longer exposed to a learning experience that is not visually stimulating? They can't cope. So when they get into the classroom and the classroom is no longer visually stimulating, the teacher is talking, they are doing more logical activities, the child is confused. Why? All they have been used to, the part of the brain that has been trained has been the visual processing part of the brain. So if an activity is not visually stimulating, they log out. A lot of times, these children are now begin to think that they have learning disabilities. Meanwhile, it is the excess screen time that they have been exposed to that is affecting them. So, reduce your child's screen time. It damages the brain. Coach has talked about screen autism, where excess exposure to screen has shown that a lot of children begin to show symptoms of autism just by excessive exposure to screen. They can no longer thrive when a class is not as visually stimulating as it should be normally. Guess what happens? They log off. They are confused. They lose attention. They stare into the blank space. Excessive screen time. So if you're going to play your role as a neurosculptor, you will have to commit you will, as a parent, have to commit to reducing your child's screen time. So far, we've talked about balancing the 80-20 concepts. Identify your child's strengths, weaknesses, play to their strengths, identify their weaknesses, and look for activities that could balance it out. Number 2, embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. Number 3, play. Number 4, reduce screen time. Number 5, encourage hobbies and interests. We found that getting children to learn instrumental music, for example, piano, drums, guitar, violin, saxophone, has been found that learning an instrument at age 5, before age 10, uses more parts of the brain than most activities a child is exposed to. So you would typically find that children who are exposed to learning music, learning instrumental music, have better cognitive processing, they have better critical and analytical thinking. And of course, these are the skills that children need to learn maths. Number 7, ensure quality early years learning experience. A research by Stanford University found that children who delayed getting into school until age 6 had better concentration, better focus, better memory when they got into school. Children who delayed school till age 6. Now, what happened? It wasn't because the children were at home or that they were playing. That wasn't what happened. What happened was that period where the children were not in school, they were exposed to play. They were exposed to more activities that were not just academic. So they were not doing literacy, they were not doing numeracy. But when they came to school, they did better in concentration. They did better in focus. They did better in memory retention than children who were learning ABC by age 2. Your child's early years learning experience has to be curated to ensure that the skills they are learning are not just academic competencies. Now, I'm not saying that ABCs are not good. Of course, I run a school. I'm not saying that sounds and all those things are not good. But your child's school must balance it. Cramming is not the core of education. Experiential learning is the core, where a child is able to learn beyond the 4 walls of a school. So this holiday, begin to think, begin to access the education. If you walk into a school and all the school owner is able to brag that the children 4-year-old can do 1 to 1,000, you want to begin to rethink. This is why you want to begin to look out for schools like the Quiver School in Lagos, one of our sponsors, because their first is play-based learning. You want to begin to look out for schools like LearnFuel Preparatory Schools in Uyo. Our focus is to ensure that whatever a child is learning is experiential. And I know that I've talked about neurosculptors as parents, but if you're a neurosculpting parent and your child's school is a neuro-destroying parent, a neuro-destroying school, it is not going to balance out. So ensure that whatever your child is exposed to as learning in the first 5 years are experiential. They are child-centered. The last but not the least for what you can do to neurosculpt your brain is to expose your child to reading very, very early. Do you know that learning to read early can improve your child's cognitive skills? Do you know that learning to read early, exposing your child to reading early can... Hi, Tenny. Are we rounding up?
Yeah, please.
Fantastic. Yes, I'll round up in the next couple of minutes. Now, exposing your child to early reading can improve. How does this happen? When children begin to learn to read early, we literally stimulate their brains just by that stretch of activity. Now, research was found that young children with strong reading skills perform better in IQ tests. A research also found that the intelligence level of identical twins was checked. And we found that children, now I'm not saying children to learn to read so you earn a bragging right that my child can read. No. We are looking at the cognitive benefits on the side just by exposing children to early reading. So to recap quickly, number 1 thing you should begin to do is to ensure you balance out the 80-20 concepts. Number 2, embrace mistakes. Number 3, play. Number 4, reduce screen time. Number 5, encourage hobbies and interests. Number 7, Or number 6, ensure a quality, the key word is quality, early years learning experience. And number 7 or number 8, whatever the number is, ensure that your child is exposed to reading very, very early on. Thank you so much, Coach. Thank you guys so much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Precious.
Oh, I think that should be the network.
Thank you.
No, I went out the stream to get the team to do something. Sorry about that. Thank you so much, Precious, for this amazing session. You know, I could see a lot of parents saying, are you sure? Are you real? I'm supposed to reduce this one. Am I supposed to reduce this one? And all of that. All right. There's a lot to learn. And I want to say proudly, the TIP Annual Conference have been made what it is by the team. And of course, Precious is the lead of that team. Thank you again, Precious, for all you do at the TIP Academy. Precious is the very first staff that the TIP Academy employed, and Precious have been working with the TIP Academy. So proud of what Precious have done over the years. If you are in Uyo, you have a child that is going to a preschool, going to an early year school. You want to take that child to Precious's school. I am not vouching. I can put my name on the line for it. You know, when I recommend people that I can knock their head. That's the kind of people I can recommend. So when there's something, I can actually pull their hair and say, what did I hear? That's the kind of recommendation I do, because I'm putting my own name on the line to be able to do that. So this was an amazing session. Amazing. Temitayo, thank you so much for also being here with us. Precious is one of the people that, is going to be chasing us with time and all of that. It's interesting that she's now here teaching, and she didn't get to that time and we meet here at the back. But really, this has been an amazing session. I am so proud, so proud. If you know where we're coming from, you will know how proud I am today. I'm absolutely proud, and trust me, someone came to me recently when we started the Masterpiece, mentorship program, and said, what will I learn from you? I didn't know how to explain to the person.
What a question. What a question.
This is what you learn from me. I think I will leave it there. I think this this answers your question, really, for all of the people who are asking me, what do you learn?
Guys, please don't think about it twice. Don't think about it.
And if you want to learn more, you come to Inner Circle. We know these things.
Thank you so much, Temi. Thank you, Precious, again. In fact, what got me was being a neurosculptor for your child. It was just on point, as in absolutely on point. And you want to follow Precious, please let's drop your handle, Instagram, and so that we can project that. Follow Precious. Precious has built an amazing system. Trust me when I say it, there's so much resources. Africa has resources, really. The world has resources. We just don't know where they are. So you didn't know about it. That's just what happened. You're not aware. But right now you are aware that there are things like this. So of course, I need you to move. Please let us go and rave over the team lead of the TIP Academy. Trust me, we are proud. This will be our first time being at the TIP Annual Conference, and I tell you, I feel like receiving all of the flowers without giving her any. But hey, she deserves all the flowers today. Like Mrs. Knott said, how dare you? Like, how dare you? How dare you question what it is?
How dare you question?
That can be produced from the TIP Academy.
How dare you?
How dare you?
Who gave you the right?
Awesome. That was just amazing. The comment section is buzzing. Precious, we don't have that link. Please share it in the private chat so that we can project. Thank you so much. I don't think that there is any... I don't think there's any questions. We have, great. So you just get on to the website and use that to reach out to Precious. Precious would like your IG handle as well, so that
Private chat
People
agents.
can copy that. I think an IG handle, it's easier or something, so
Okay,
that.
I'll just share it to. I'll share it
All
to
right.
the comment section.
Please do. All right. Just share to the comment section. Awesome. All right.
Yes,
So if you hear, if you see when you look at, you just a lot of the team people using that handle. So don't see. All right. So this kidslearningcoach.ng. That's how to follow Precious on Instagram. There's a lot. Somebody said, what age can you recommend for a child to start school? I think that's the question.
Recommended age is age 3. Recommended age is age 3. But of course, depends on a number of factors. If you find somewhere, age 3 recommended for pre-K1, but there are other factors that determine when you want your child to go to school.
Awesome. All right. I think that's where we would keep it, today, because we have another session that is coming up at 6. Precious 6, right?
Yes.
Yes, 6 p.m. And 6 p.m. And you want to listen to Kristen Buchtel. Kristen Buchtel will be teaching all the way from Australia. And she's been at the TRPNR conference before. Her session, Noteworthy Parenting, was something
It
else.
was fantastic.
It was something.
2021.
You don't want to miss that
so good.
session. Trust me. It was just amazing. All right. So we're going live at 6. And after that, we'll go live at 7:30 with my Oga at the top. If you miss that session, you don't know me.
I look
Me and you
forward
will
to
not be
that
friends.
session, Coach.
You don't know me. You want to know where
I'm
I'm coming from and where I'm starting from. Please come to that session. All right. So we're going to be there at exactly 7 o'clock. But please do not forget, do something for us. Go and rave over Precious. Please go to our Instagram handle and go and share all of the accolades, all of these things. All right. All of these things that, it's you've heard and all of that. Please go there and you can, share all of the questions and all of that. There are so many things that Precious said here that are not, strange, especially to parents who are in the academy. When you get into the academy, one of the first things that we get you to do is to take out that TV that you want to put in the room, in the parlor, in the kitchen, everywhere. We'll pack it for you and go and sell. If you don't have what to do with it, I'll collect the money for you. It can't be that hard since you have plenty, whatever. But really,
really, answer like a final question, ma.
Oh, please go ahead. Go ahead. I think we have a few
Someone is
minutes.
asking, in a country like Nigeria, please, what let me highlight that. What would a child be doing at home from age 0 to 6? No, I'm not saying that your child should be at home from age 0 to 6. What I'm saying is that ensure that your child's early learning experiences. It was a research that stated that children they were kept at home. But when they were kept at home, they were not just kept at home and they were just looking. They were involved in other learning activities that were not core academic competence like English, maths, and the rest. So what I'm saying is that as the children go to school, ensure that school balances out core academic competencies of learning with other learning experiences that are not just education. You could do practical life, cognitive activities, other things. Do you understand? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you keep your child at home, please.
If you funny enough, interestingly, if you have the capacity to, trust me. Yes. You have the capacity to, trust me, your child will do better. Some of those things that that are shared, a lot of the times we look at it like, I cannot. Let me not use inner circle language. Yeah, I might confuse it. So we say this guy cannot. It's just the same way, we're very negative about our process. We say things like, oh, I cannot parent without yelling at a child. I don't know who is teaching us all of those things. Committed to a process and you want to actually do something differently, you can. There are a lot of ways to actually be able to do a whole lot of things. All right. So you can make it work for you. All right, the principles are the same. The methodology is what differs, really.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you again, Precious. Please, what would be your last word?
My last
the name of your school, and then
Learnville Preparatory Schools, Uyo. Learnville Preparatory Schools. So my last words would be that there is a system that has been created. Everything I've shared, there is a system that has been created to enable you consciously and unconsciously neurosculpt your child's brain without even intentionally doing anything. And that system is the inner circle. When you see reviews and your people, parents are sharing that just by entering the inner circle and sacking their lesson teachers, their children's grades have increased. This is it. The connection tools are so beautifully created that you're neurosculpting your child's brain and you don't even know what you're doing. But you just know that at the end of the day, there's a resultant effect. And that resultant effect is that this child has improved. I have seen it in my own daughter's life. I have seen it in terms of reviews that come into the inner circle. So please, the detail is scrolling on your screen. I always say this, 1st of December, I will stand at the door. I will stand at the door. I will wait. Guys, please join in. Thank you so much, Coach, for this honor. I celebrate and I appreciate you, ma. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Precious. I love you. I honor you. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you especially for all you do in the background. A lot of people will not know it, but the TIP Academy is, Precious is a valued piece of the TIP Academy. If you know, you know. All right. And really, it is something that we never fail to say, both, in public and at the back. Thank you, Precious. Thank you. And thank you to all of the team members. We have team members that will not be able to come live, here, Augustine, for instance, for the work that they do.
Thank you, Augustine. We are hailing you from here.
Thank you so much, Precious. Please do not forget to follow Precious. Where is that thing again? Precious, please call it up and please put it on the screen.
KidsLearningCoach.ng.
All right, at KidsLearningCoach.ng. Please follow Precious. Go there now, and go and share all you have learned now. If you don't come and chat me and say, where is that Precious contact? I will not share, I will block you. Go on Instagram. Don't follow, how did they say it, Jose? Don't follow at the back, right? Don't follow anonymously. It's like TV, not nice. Don't follow anonymously. Follow boldly. Go and tag her. Go and let people know about her. Thank you so much. See you right now at 6 p.m.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining. God bless you. Thank you so much, Coach.
Yes, Precious. Well done.